lights are out, you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels slow, just hold on. Just hold on. Just hold on. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold on. Just hold on. Just hold on. Just hold on.
It is the opening event for what is going to be another wild and crazy season for the Circle B Diecast Superspeedway Series, and it all begins here tonight, Season 6, here at Daytona International Speedway. Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening here tonight. And alongside me will be Tony Trapasso. Tony, Super Speedway Racing, it's back. First time since the 25th of June, a little bit more than a month. Connor Trafari looking to repeat as champion from Season 5.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what type of defending champion Connor Trafari is going to be. I mean, we've seen him on Monday nights do well, and that aggressive driving style that he has in the next-gen car seems to work well for him. But this is a completely different animal. I meing, you're talking a different vehicle every week, rotating between Daytona, old Daytona, Talladega, new Daytona, and then rotating that throughout the season. So, I mean, aggressiveness can help at times, but it can also very much hinder you at other times. Patience is going to be the key this season.
Yeah, but it typically is here for Super Speedway Racing. As we'll take a look at those standings from last season, both the driver and team standings. There's Connor Trafari, whose 16th birthday just passed last Wednesday. So he is coming into this season as the reigning defending champion. Greg McConey coming just 4 points shy. Zach Bowerman coming 5 points shy. Zishan Dura, who had won the two previous races before the season finale, coming home in fourth. Joe Gauthier was the best of the rest that did not make it into the championship four for the final race of the season. So a lot of these guys are going to be looking for the best possible start in what is truly a wild card championship.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was kind of a heartbreak season for Gauthier, and he is here tonight. He is in the familiar 67 and currently sitting fifth quick, as we've got some returning names and some new names in the series this season, Frank.
Yep, absolutely. And it is because of those new names that tonight we will have one fast repair on offer here tonight for the 80 laps, a 75% fuel fill in the trucks to start this season off. A race that Elijah Innes, won last season. Going to be looking to try to duplicate that if he's here. I thought I saw him in the practice time. No, I did not. So that's a mistake on my part there. As we have 24 drivers set to take the grid, and again, old and new faces.
Yeah, Elijah's not here, but Zishan Dura is back. James Lowe is back with the series. Greg Marconi, of course, returning. Nick Wing back. Connor Trafari, Ryan Decker. Henry Wyndham making a return. Ryan Worley, Zach Borman. And then we got a handful of new names sprinkled in there for flavor. And it's going to be interesting to see how quickly these new names can adapt to those racing around them, because a lot of these guys have raced with each other, not just in this series for seasons, but on Monday night as well. So you kind of learn the racing style of those guys around you, and it can be very helpful in knowing when to go, when not to go, and how hard to go.
Yep, absolutely. As we're winding down the first practice session of the season, James Lowe, who is returning in that familiar number 99 Balls Energy machine. Him and his two Balls Out teammates, John Creighton and Marcus Adams, both finishing atop the pile here in the practice session, sweeping the podium. Marcus Adams, the winner of the season finale last year. As we take a look at the number 3 on the car, number 28 on the timing and scoring pylon, that is Ryan Decker. Connor Trafari out on track as well. Newcomer to the series, Patrick Coro in the number 19 Crown Royal. Ford F-150. Mark McFadden, Marcus Adams, James Lowe, Joe Gauthier, Dustin Logston, and Dan Heisey all jumping onto the racetrack. But the first one is Ryan Decker.
Absolutely, and that's one of the reasons why we don't let tech officials drink during the tech-in process. Decker, of course, with the 3 on the side of that truck, getting the transponder for number 28 tonight. So might be just a tick of confusion at times, but we'll try to work our way through it. As Decker out on track, Worley out on track, McFadden, Creighton, Adams, Trafari, Gauthier, and Lowe all out on track right now, coming around to take the green to start their first laps.
Yep, the first and only lap here in the Superspeedway Series qualifying sessions.
All right.
As we take a look, Chris Worrell in the number 6 with Balls Energy as well. Starting his one and only lap time. The man who is currently furthest along is Dan Heisey in that number 86. I believe that is a Midas Chevrolet Silverado. It is. Hoping he can have the Midas touch on this qualifying session as he heads through 3 and 4 for the one and only time at speed. Does not have the fastest first half of the lap time. Trying to see if he can make it up in the second half of the lap. And he will come across the line, set provisional pole, but I believe just momentarily as Ryan Decker heads to the top. Connor Trafari jumps up into third. As time's flying in all over the place, Patrick Coro jumps to second. Ryan Decker, though, with the fastest time at a 51.95. James Lowe, there you see him with a second place time thus far. John Creighton right now fastest of all the first half of the lap coming to the line.
And the thing to keep in mind tonight, Frank, it's a little bit different than we've seen in the past with the iRacing East Series, especially on Monday nights. They're giving these guys unlimited tire sets here tonight. Now, tire wear normally at Daytona isn't a major factor, but it can help you make moves in heavy traffic.
Yep, it certainly can. Creighton goes up to 4th, Adams to 5th as you see him locking it down. After the line, Brandon Wilson, who we have not seen for quite a while on the Cup side, has rejoined for the Superspeedway Series. He is on track right now. Greg McConey not that far behind him. Nicholas Wing, Henry Wyndham on track as well.
Damn, this is a sharp truck that Marconi's driving tonight.
There's the that body armor number 12 of Greg McConey. Adrian Moore on track as well. Take a look and see where Brandon Wilson will come across the line since he will be the first to do so. Takes the apron. You see that a lot here in these trucks. Here at Daytona, crosses the line, and Wilson will jump up into 10th. McConey jumps up into 7th. So not a bad qualifying time for McConey. Wyndham, slowest of the drivers that has taken time. He is in the 16th position. Adrian Moore, I believe, might be the last one to finish a lap because Nicholas Wing is going to be close. And I believe Moore is just bailed out. He has.
Wing's coming out of 2 right now. So, yeah, he's not going to be able to make it. And looks like Shane Posey in the 83 having connection issues tonight. So we might be missing one before all is said and done here.
Just might be as Wing heads through 3 and 4. He's got 12 seconds to get back to the start-finish line. It's going to be close. If he doesn't make, he's going to have to set a pole time here if he wants to make it. Coming to line 3, 2, 1. Will iRacing be lenient? Nope. He just missed it by about 2 or 3 seconds. As the iRacing leniency, not that much. As we finish the first qualifying session of the season, we'll take a look at where these guys start. It'll be Ryan Decker who takes the first pole award of the season for the Circle B Diecast Super Speedway Series. James Lowe missing out on the pole by 8/1000ths of a second in his return to the series. Chris Worrell and John Creighton will make up row number 2, with row 3 going to Marcus Adams and Mark McFadden. Balls Out Racing 2, 3, 4, 5 to start this race. Greg McConey and Brian Turnowski will make up row number 4, with Dustin Logston and Patrick Coro. In row number 5, Brandon Wilson and Daniel Stein will make up row number 6.
Joe Gautier and defending series champion Connor Trafari going to roll off in row 7, with row 8 giving us Dan Hissey and Henry Wyndham. Wyndham, the last one to post a time in the qualifying session. Zishan Dura and Zach Foreman going to roll off in row 9. Row 10 gives us Adrian Moore and allegedly Shane. No,
that's Ryan Worley.
Thank you, timing is scoring. Ryan Worley. Nick Wing and Jason Papp roll off in row 11, and starting shotgun on the field, as it doesn't look like Shane Posey is going to make it back. John Lombard in the 95, starting 23rd.
Now, if Posey can make it back here, he will have a pit start here tonight, which at Daytona and Talladega sometimes is not the worst thing in the world to have happen. As we are waiting, I believe, on Posey. If he has returned, we're waiting on Posey.
He has not.
No, so I'm not sure what we're waiting on right now.
He actually has. He has reconnected, but he's not going to be here for long with a 4-digit ping and a single-digit quality.
There you go. So we should be rolling right about now. There goes Ryan Decker as we get set to get this first race of Season 6 underway here tonight. And you can see it is a very cool night here in Daytona Beach. 64-degree ambient temperature, 67-degree track temperature. These engines are going to be loving this tonight.
Absolutely. The engines are going to be loving it. The tires are going to be loving it, because this is when the most grip is going to be in the track once they are able to get the tires up to operating temperature. But the first lap going into turn 1, it's going to be a little bit sketch with as cool as it is right now.
It absolutely has the potential to be, as these cars gridding up some of the guys at the back of the field, trying to make their way back up to the front. And it's been so long since I've called one of these super speedway races. Pace laps here take quite a while, if I do remember. So 23 drivers getting set to take this race on to see who will win the opening race of the season. Tony, who you liking?
It's anybody's guess right now, because, I mean, I saw some strong stuff happen during the practice session, but, I mean, right now it's anybody's race.
It certainly is. Thus is the nature of super speedway racing. As we come off of turn 4, getting set for Season 6 of the Circle B Diecast Super Speedway Series to get going. Pace Truck is going to duck on off. 80 laps here at the Daytona International Speedway. We're green.
Clean start so far for the rest, or the entire field, as they get it sorted out. That's Ryan Decker with the nose out front, hauling it off into turn number 1, as we got a little bit of some fracas going on there, getting a little bit of a shove from that Balls Energy number 6 of Chris Worrell. Worrell getting by his teammate Lowe as they're scattering down the back straightaway.
Yep, Marcus Adams and Creighton both deciding to bail out. Same as, I believe that's the 33 of Dustin Logston decided to bail out. Joe Gautier bailing out. Connor Trafari bailing out to go to the back of the field. But right now, up at the front, it is a Balls Out Racing 1-2 right now, with Chris Worrell and James Lowe returning to the series after missing last season. Mark McFadden, the third car on that inside line. Now Greg McConey trying to give a little push to Decker to get that outside line working.
We've seen Marconi and Decker work well together in the past here and in other series, trying to get that second lane working. They've got a little bit of help out there as that is the 501 of Brandon Wilson, it looks like, as they work their way down the back straightaway again. Decker with a nose out front, hauling it off into turn number 3 as Worrell tries to defend on the inside. Not going to happen as Decker slams the door.
We're seeing inside of Brian Tarnowski's number 66, scrubbing bubbles. Ford F-150. Just goes to this is how close and how tense this type of racing is. 190 mile an hour traffic jam, as it always seems to be compared to, and a lot of wiggling out of these trucks, not just Tarnowski, but the rest of the guys in front of him as well.
A lot of that has to do with the fact that they're just getting the tires up to temperature now. This is where you're going to see the cream start to rise to the top, and the guys that are able to get it figured out. You've got to hold a tight line, but you've also got to keep in mind that in this tight-knit draft, you've got to get air to the radiator on a regular basis, or else all the guys behind you are going to see is just a cloud of smoke as you hand grenade the engine.
I mean, you could afford to do that a little bit with the fast repair that is available tonight, as the 12 of McConey really giving Ryan Decker a push out in front of the 6, but Worrell able to hold position on that inside line, just barely has the back bumper of that 3 covered off. It's not going to have it covered off, though, much longer, as McConey really giving Decker a shot.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got to be careful because they get the 3 Balls Energy trucks on that inside lane. Is Marconi just throws it down to the inside line, completely slams the door on Worrell. Marconi to the point, coming off of 4.
And Greg McConey again missing out on the championship last season by a mere 4 points. He is certainly going to be looking for a championship run here this season as he leads his first lap of the season. Worrell and Decker, the only other leaders here tonight, and they're all running 1, 2, 3. James Lowe, teammate to the 6, running up there. The other 2 Balls Energy machines are the last 2 cars on the racetrack right now. John Creighton and Marcus Adams in the 79 and the 31, as we are going crazy already here at Daytona.
Not sure what happened to Decker coming off of 2. Is that was a big moment. Yeah, that's exactly what he was doing. Just called no mas. Is apparently he didn't want to get behind the 6 of Worrell and give him a shove. So bailing out, trying to drop back a little bit. Maybe getting a little too hectic up there. Wants to save that truck for later in the race. But, yeah, that could have been a big moment as those guys went 3 wide there for a second going into 3.
Interesting dynamic up here at the front. Balls Energy on the outside. Dudes racing on the inside of row 1. Flip reverse that for row number 2. Balls Energy on the inside. Dudes racing on the outside. As we're seeing a little bit of movement in the back there, as I think someone's gone off. The 33 of Dustin Logston having a big moment. He's able to save that truck. We stay green.
Yeah, that was a big wiggle coming through the tri-oval section as, going down the back straightaway.
Might have gotten a bad bump from Gautier.
That's what it looked like. Just Gautier caught him wrong down the back straightaway, and it kind of stacked that group up of Gautier, Moore, Wing, Creighton, and Adams. Logston able to keep it straight. And he is losing the draft, though, so bad news for the driver of the 33 right now.
Yeah, but that absolutely was it. It was a bad draft. It was a bad push.
3 wide.
From Gautier as we go back up to the front here. As that's Connor Trafari, I think, trying to fall back, or at least work his... no, he might be trying to work his way up in that number 48. He fell to the back at the beginning of the race and is now starting to move his way back up through the field, trying to see if that third line is a viable option here at Daytona. And so far, right now, it's not proven to be too bad.
It's not being too bad, but the thing is, he's going to need a lot of help if he wants to make it any further forward than he is, as the 86 of Dan Hissey, or Heisey, getting a little bit of a blinky coming there through the tri-oval section. So big moment for those guys around him, wondering where he's going to reappear. Luckily, everybody kept it straight as I'm not sure if Trifari is trying to make some headway right now on the 19, or if he's just trying to get some clean air to the grill of that Toyota Tundra.
It could be, that definitely could be the other option that he's trying to work into play here. Because boy, that 19 of Patrick Coro, one of the debutants here in this series, getting a little close to Heisey down there on the bottom in the 86. Then we'll swing down to the bottom as Mark McFadden has a little bit of a bobble, getting too low going into turn 1, clips the apron. He's going right along in that number 5.
Yeah, absolutely. Decent run going for the number 5. Currently running in the 6th slot, within reaching distance of Tarnowski in the 66. It's Tarnowski on the high side, McFadden on the low side, and big wiggle out of the 501 of Brandon Wilson coming through 3 and 4.
And all of these trucks are moving right now. All of them are wiggling all over the place here in the draft. This was the preferred of the 3 cars, the 4 cars, I should say, that were run. It was the Cup car at the start of the season that was the preferred car of the group. After the aerodynamic changes that were made by iRacing, they had wiped the Cup car completely off the schedule, and the truck became the favorite. By the end of the season, these guys were not all that pleased with the aero changes that were made to the truck, but still having a prominent view on this season.
Yeah, and if you take a look at what they've got on slate for this season, this week, trucks at Daytona. Next week, Xfinity cars at Talladega. The following week, ARCA at the new Daytona. Then back-to-back Xfinity races at Old Daytona and then Talladega. Back-to-back truck races leading into Veterans Day. And then Xfinity at Old Daytona, ARCA at Talladega, Next Gen at Talladega, trucks at Old Daytona, Xfinity at New Daytona, trucks at Talladega, and then we go into the playoffs.
That's a notable loss as well of the iRacing Superspeedway after the unfortunate race that was, I believe it was the 3rd race of the season last year in the Xfinity cars there. Just did not work out. That car and track combination did not see eye to eye. It was enough to spook the series off of the racetrack, which fair play to them. For that is Connor Trifari still trying to make that 3rd lane work around the outside of Brian Tarnowski and Mark McFadden. Hasn't quite made it work yet. He was able to get his way up through the pack on that 3rd lane by himself, but he's going to need a little bit of help at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with those guys running stem to stern in front of him in the 1st lane and the 2nd lane, he's going to need some help as Jason Papp goes with him to the 3rd lane, going down the back straightaway.
Riding on board with Jason Papp now in that number 1. Boy, Connor Trifari, you see a little bit of sparks there from the reigning defending champion. A lot of movement around it. Trifari will duck under behind Tarnowski again, but only for a brief second, as here comes Papp again, deciding which lane he wants to take.
Hanging Trifari out to dry on that 3rd lane. Trifari's got to be careful because right now Tarnowski's about as stable as my ex-girlfriend.
That was a big chop there from Chris Worrell to take the race lead, and that's the Circle B chop right there. The car on the bottom tends to jump on out, get pushed to the lead, and then chop back down to keep that race lead as Brian Tarnowski now gets shuffled into that 3rd lane by Connor Trifari. Jason Papp following with him, and now he's going to try to get a little bit of help from Dan Heisey, who lets him back in on that outside lane.
And if you are liking what you're seeing here on the broadcast tonight, go ahead and let us know in the chat, hashtag Circle B Chop. And don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, share, and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss a single moment of action all season long.
And I think Brandon Wilson now has decided to check out of this front group there in that Realtree Racing number 501. As he has jumped from the front of this group to the back. Chris Worrell currently leading James Lowe, his teammate on the outside, getting a push from Connor Trifari. on that outside lane. Balls Energy 1 and 2 right now, leading that front lane.
Absolutely is. It seems weird to call them teammates considering that one guy's in a Chevy and one guy's in a Toyota, but hey, nothing in the series bylaws that say you can't do that, as we've seen Fords and Chevys team up, Fords and Toyotas team up, Chevys and Toyotas team up, so more power to them. As right now, these guys are just picking them up and laying them down, as we've got 14 laps in the books already.
And a little bit of a blink there out of the 00 of Ryan Worley, who's showing his face up here at the front for the first time tonight. Not too far away from pit stops here with the 75% fuel fill on these trucks, is now Lowe. Will jump down to the bottom line in that number 99. And Lowe will take the lead for the first time, with Jason Papp pushing Connor Trafari on that outside lane. Brian Turnowski right behind him. Dan Heisey there as well, as that inside line really has not changed much. They've changed orders, but the drivers in that inside line really have stayed the same throughout the course of the first 16 laps.
Yeah, they've all, just kind of thrown caution to the wind and just gone after it right now. Just kind of content to run stem to stern, as, they're just trying to turn laps, trying to see what this first tire run is going to do. I wouldn't expect to see too many guys take 4 tires, especially under green flag conditions. What has been common, at least in the NIS series and the official C fixed, is you'll see guys come in and take left sides in fuel and then take rights under a caution, but generally you're not going to see a 4-tire stop unless we do get a caution.
Typically not here. We've seen a lot of guys that decide to go fuel only on these first couple of stops here, especially with the 75% fuel fill, one of the lower fuel fills we'll have this season. So you're spending less time on those tires with the less fuel fill. Really no need to take tires at Daytona and Talladega to begin with. And if you're staying out there for less than you would on a normal full fuel run, really no point.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, unless we see the dreaded caution, which, to answer the question you were talking about during the pace lap, 1 minute 35 seconds to pace around this place.
It feels a heck of a lot longer than that.
I'm sorry, 2:35.
That sounds more like it. As Connor Trafari working that outside line did, in fact, lead that last lap. So the reigning defending champion has led his first lap of the season, bringing Jason Papp, who is the biggest mover of the race, up 19 positions with him, as Turnowski and Heisey falling in line behind those two at the front of this lane. But that top line is looking like a snake, as Greg McConey pushes that bottom line back to allow his teammate Jason Papp to fall in front.
Yeah, absolutely. Marconi, doing the right thing and trying to get somebody that he trusts in front of him, as Papp and Marconi running nose to tail right now, as Trafari all by his lonesome on that outside lane. No real help from an ally, if you will. And he tries to force his way down and almost gets into the 19 of Coro.
And in the end does force his way down to the inside, and it's because of Coro letting off there that Trafari will get down to that inside. As we'll see if we can find that really quick. Taking a look at it. It's already happened by this point. Let's go back a little bit further. There we go. Going back a little bit further. There he is, forcing his way down onto that inside line. Was Trafari, and those seem aggressive, but those are championship-winning moves, whether if you can make them or not.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, nothing ventured, nothing gained. As here comes the 66 of Tarnowski, getting a great shove from Heisey in the 86, as those two guys making that outside lane work. But wow, is Tarnowski out of control coming through the middle of 3 and 4.
It might have been trying a little bit of side draft there on the 6 as Henry Wyndham in the 028 coming up behind them for the first time tonight. We're also seeing Zach Bowerman join the group on the outside lane. Zishan Dura there as well in the 10. Ryan Decker in the 3 up on that outside line as well. First time we've seen the pole sitter since about lap 4 or 5, as Tarnowski right now has that lead and a big wiggle out of Heisey. These things are looking to be very, very difficult to handle right as you're about to get up to the truck in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely. It has to do with the new aero package, or the newest aero package that we saw at the very, very tail end of last season.
Here they come.
And here we go. Green flag pit stops happen in that inside lane. All of them completely peeling off.
Oh, Pap, no!
Oh.
Hits the inside wall hard coming into pit road. I mean, it's not a complete bummer because you do have the fast repair here tonight. We'll see if he uses it.
Oh, he's going to have to.
No, he does not. He's going to save that just in case.
As badly as he pancaked the left side of that truck, I'm surprised.
Yeah, that was a hard hit. You could see it happening. He was really low on pit entry, and then once he slammed the brakes to slow down to really get down into pit road, that back end snapped right around on the 1. As now here comes, well, we thought was going to be the full second group. Brian Tarnowski is going to lead the second group down. And Tarnowski might be getting popped for speeding here as Connor Trafari makes a couple of great moves on pit road. He was about 5th or 6th in line. He's going to come in second.
Borman, Dura, and your pole sitter Ryan Decker all electing to stay out one more lap. Now the thing is as far as tire fall off goes, it's not a big thing here at the super speedways, but the fact that they're going to have to put more fuel in that truck, having gone another lap, that might bite them in the backside before all is said and done.
Look at the track map here to see where these guys are in relation to each other. Here's Chris Worrell right now getting around the guys in the lead pack. As expected, Bowerman, Dura, and Decker are all in here. The effective race leader is going to be this number 6 of Chris Worrell. As Worrell, Lowe, and McConey have flat checked out on the rest of this field, as Tarnowski's coming in as suspected speeding penalty on pit entry. That 66 will have to do a stop and go.
Heartbreak for the entire 66 team, as got the pit stop all wrong. So, but as you said, Zura, Borman, and Decker coming out of pit road now. Worrell, Lowe, and Marconi with a head of steam, as they've got a 3-second gap back to Connor Trafari as they flash by those guys coming out of the pits. There's Dura and Borman coming out now, and it's pretty much academic at this point.
Those two might just be able to stay with this top 3.
Doesn't look it.
Yeah, no, they've fallen about a second off. Bowerman not that far behind the 10 of Dura. He's going to need one heck of a push to get up there. John Creighton right now leading that big second group with Marcus Adams. Those two were the last two in line on the racetrack going into that pit cycle. They're going to come out for 6th and 7th. So a great jump for both the 79 and the 31.
Yeah, absolutely. As Trafari, he had such a gap to try to get to the tail end of Marconi. He got swallowed up by the guys behind him, as he now has Creighton, Adams, Worley, and Stein in front of him.
As Dura and Bowerman now trying to work this draft, they are closing in on the top 3 of Worrell, Lowe, and McConey. And I have a feeling that that's the order that they're going to stay in, especially with McConey being as outnumbered as he is. 2 Balls Racing drivers in front of him, 2 Golden State Racing drivers behind him. This front group has now become a top 5. and they have a 4.3 second gap back to this cluster of trucks.
Wow.
As we hit lap 26.
Marconi just dove up in front of Dura, who had a run on him. Dura lays the chrome horn and gives Marconi a shove. Marconi to the point going into 3.
And that's about the only way he was going to be able to do it. Again, he's got 2 pairs of teammates running behind him right now, and they could very easily shuffle him out, as that's what it looks as though Chris Worrell is about to do. Worrell's going to take the momentum. Will he take the lap? No, he will not. McConey will get credit for the lap led, but now Lowe is going to jump to that outside, and for McConey, I'm not sure if that was worth it. He just went from 3rd to 1st all the way down to 5th.
Well, he was credited with that all-important bonus point. The last time he tried to lead a lap, he didn't lead the whole lap, so he did get that all-important bonus point for leading a lap finally, as Worrell, Lowe, Dura, and we're under caution.
Yes, we are under caution.
Oh.
We'll take a look and try to see what happened
19.
there. I believe it's Henry Wyndham. And, yep, that's Patrick Coro in the 19.
Jeepers.
Henry Wyndham has towed it, and now Coro has done the same. We'll take a look and see what happened with these two. Oh, that's a big shot there on Coro, who was already stuck in the fence.
It looked like Mark McFadden just gave him a bump draft in the wrong area.
See it here. This is coming off of turn 4. The accident happened in 1 and 2, so we're going to see the whole setup here.
Jeepers.
Come through the start line. McFadden a little bit wobbly behind, but again, that's something we've seen out of everyone all night. Boy, just Coro pushed up at the worst possible time. And that was a couple of shots there from Wyndham, and both the 28 and 19 are pretty well junked at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely is. We are under the first caution here. Worrell, Lowe, Dura, Borman, Marconi, Adams, Worley, Creighton, Stein, and Trifari, your defending series champion, rounding out your top 10.
We'll take a look and see who is going to come in. It looks as though everybody's going to come in to top off the fuel tanks. Chris Worrell will lead them down for what would be the second pit stop here tonight. Absolutely everybody in except for Brian Tarnowski, who is not on the lead lap after his speeding penalty. Put him a lap down.
He's getting the free pass though to get back on the lead lap.
90 of Nicholas Wing is going to win the race off of pit road. I do not believe having stopped. So Wing drives through the pits, and he will take over the effective race lead here at Daytona. You're watching the first round of Season 6 for the Circle B Diecast Super Speedway Series here on ESPN under our first caution of the night, working lap 29. Getting set for the restart on lap 31 here for the Circle B Diecast Superspeedway Series. You saw drivers coming back down pit road during the commercial break. And that has handed the lead over to Zishan Dura, who will lead this thing for the first time tonight. And he does not have a welcome sight behind him. That is Balls Energy right now, sitting 2, 3, 4, 5, just the same way they did at the start of the race. Tony, lead us down.
Field working its way out of turn number 4. Dura having the button, having only taken fuel only under that caution. Green flag comes back out, and we are back underway, working lap 31 of 80.
Big push there from Marcus Adams on the 6 of Chris Worrell. I believe that's Daniel Stein in the sister Midas number 87 on the outside line. Dan Heisey on the inside line, trying to work their way through this group. As you see, Greg McConey leading a group that has fallen well back off of this field. His teammate Brandon Wilson, Adrian Moore, Connor Trafari, Brian Turnowski, and also Wyndham and Coro battling in this back group as well.
Not sure why those guys are so far back.
Probably just to avoid an incident.
probably the safe bet right now, as Worrell showing the way in the 6th. Got his teammate Marcus Adams right there on the outside lane. Zishan Dura did get passed up, as he currently sits in the number 3 slot, first car on the inside lane behind Worrell.
Riding on board right now with Dan Heisey, sitting behind John Creighton. John LeBombard there as well in the number 95 on the outside. You can see him just off to the right. So these guys, again, you're seeing a lot of moving and shaking. Doesn't seem to matter what tires these guys are on. It's that aero that is going to be the problem here tonight, and it could help or hinder you come the end of this race.
Well, this is an aero package these guys dealt with at the very tail end of last season, and what it does is it creates a bubble around the truck, and that's about the best way I can describe it, where you can get to someone's back bumper, but you're not going to actually touch the bumper unless you've got a head of steam getting there. We call it bump drafting, but there's actually an air gap between those vehicles. And the side draft, it'll bounce you around if you get into somebody's wake, if you will. Think of it like a boat on the water, if you will.
And you can see Daniel Stein in the 87. You just saw a perfect example of that. He's close, but he's not on the back of that number 31. And you can see once he moves off of dead center, it is like an air bubble where it's throwing him off to one side or the other unless he is straight dead center on that back bumper.
Absolutely, and that's something these guys have to keep in mind all night long, that these trucks are going to move in traffic as Greg Marconi bringing that second group back towards this lead pack. They were about 2.5 seconds back at one point. Now they're on the tail end of this lead group.
And just still watching Stein here. He's not touching that number 31 right now. It might look like it, but he's not touching him. And he's going to push him to the race lead, but you can see just how much moving and shaking there is. And even, watch that inside, my goodness, with Worrell. But even Mark McFadden behind him moving around quite a bit. You see him jump into that third lane.
Yeah, absolutely. Think of it like you're having a car ride with your sister as a kid going, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you. And next thing you know, she pops you in the hand and your hand goes flying. That's what these guys are experiencing at 185, 190 miles an hour.
Boy, that 10 of Zishan Dura feels like a very lonely man right now. He is the only one that is separating that Balls Energy team on that inside line right now. 2 in front, 2 behind. as Stein still leading that outside line. Mark McFadden behind him. You can tell what that move down was for, as Marcus Adams had jumped down to try to get in front of his teammate Chris Worrell, but you can see this long shot down the back straightaway. Everybody's moving around.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, nobody's able to really keep the truck straight. They're fighting these things the entirety of the 2.5 miles around here at Daytona. And the fact that we haven't had more contact than we have is nothing short of miraculous.
Zach Bowerman had a big moment there at the back of this group, currently running P16 behind Nicholas Wing, who was one of the guys that came into pit, one of the many guys that came into pit under that second lap of caution. There's Wing with Jason Papp to his outside now, and you can see the damage on Papp from his pit entry under green flag. A little bit of movement there, sees that is the 99, the 099 of James Lowe jump up. He's now the third car on the outside lane, splitting Mark McFadden and John LeBombard.
Yeah, absolutely. Is these Balls Energy guys, they're in the same Discord server. That was close.
That was a big shot there from the 6 of Worrell. Got the 31 out of shape, and that will allow the 87 of Daniel Stein to stick his nose out in front. Mark McFadden to push all the way. James Lowe behind him, but now they've gotten it sorted back out. And on the inside line, and Adams is around. Hard crash, caution number 2.
Wow.
It's almost as if we were just talking about how wild these trucks are and all that pushing and shoving, the air around the truck. It's almost as if they hurt us. Connor Trafari takes the chicane down the back straightaway. There's Heisey, who had gotten a little piece of it from his teammate Stein.
Yeah, Heisey just caught a race truck to the face.
There's Joe Gauthier in it as well.
Nick Wing catching a huge piece of it.
Mark McFadden forced to tow. We'll take a look from high above what happened.
Bump draft gone wrong.
Yep, there was a bump draft from the outside from McFadden on Stein. Is what kicked that off. We'll ride on board here with Marcus Adams, who had zero clue what was happening.
Hopefully none of you have had dinner yet.
And the blown engine is what's forced him to, tow, and already, there's on board of Adams again.
Well, Doc, the last thing I remember was Dirt Sky, pretty EMT.
It's on board of Stein. Hit by Wing, catches his teammate, and then just for good measure, noses it into the inside wall.
Not a big surprise here, but wholesale pit stops again.
From above for Dan Heisey, who had almost made it through that. And one final look from Gauthier. And we know Mark is not that driver, but that's the second time now that has happened, where a car in front of him is pushed up and he's just timed it wrong. Caused the spin and a big accident. There we see the race leader, Jason Papp, who will get his first lap lead of the season. I mean, you saw with that onboard with Marcus Adams just how quick it happens, just straight away. He's running fine, and then all of a sudden he's nose first into the fence. No clue as to what was going on around him. As we are working our second caution of the night here, and once Jason Papp crosses the line here, or whoever is leading crosses the line here, we will have hit the halfway point of the first race of the season. Looks like Zishan Dura is going to be coming in. Zach Bowerman still trying to decide and finally decides to bring it in. Dustin Logston, Ryan Decker in. A lot of guys in the middle and the back of the pack. Joe Gauthier, Dan Heisey, Nicholas Wing, Daniel Stein, Mark McFadden, Marcus Adams, all involved in that incident that's brought out the caution on lap 37. As we get set to double them up and get going.
Helps if I turn my mic on.
Yeah, naturally.
I think, and I got to think that when we go back to green, Jason Papp is a sitting duck with as much damage as on the left side of that number one. He could have used this moment to get that truck fixed, but that's not a being pushed truck. That's a pusher at this point.
And he was fine, to be fair to him. And go back to last year, the opening race of the season, Zach Bowerman did not have a front end at all the entirety of that race and almost won the thing with most of the cars still intact. So these cars can take a beating around here. I mean, it is a large amount of damage on that one, but it's not extreme. He's still got all four fenders. Looks like just a peel up on that left front, at least from afar. We know it's quite crinkled as the pace truck getting set to pull off. Green flag coming back out. We are back racing here. 39 laps to go here from Daytona.
Pat pulls the trigger. Lowe goes with him. And you got to think that these guys are going to try to figure out how they can get by Jason Papp as quickly as they can, as Lowe just full send it mode on that second lane, gets a little help from Adrian Moore in the 09. And right now, Lowe playing both sides against the middle, finally gets it sorted out and jumps down in front of Papp. Extra coat of paint, and they would have been in trouble.
They're three wide in the middle of that field as guys are starting to bail out, sort themselves out, figure out which line they want to run. Daniel Stein bailed out during the back, down the back straightaway to get to the back of the pack. One of those drivers that has not, that was a part of that incident, that no longer has that fast repair in his pocket. As we take a look at a brand new outside line, essentially, Adrian Moore out to the lead here. First time in a while we've seen Adrian Moore, not just in this series, but on this network as well. Nice to see the 09 back out on circuit. Brian Turnowski, second car on that outside line. He was a lap down not 15 laps ago.
Yeah, absolutely. He got popped going through the pits and got the lucky dog under the last caution and, back up towards the front. Good to see him there as you got the 501 of Brandon Wilson running right there with Greg Marconi. Now, Marconi, you would think, is going to try to pick up Papp as soon as he can so those two teammates can start to work together.
Zach Bowerman also there in that number 9 GM Goodwrench Chevrolet, with his teammates Zishan Dura and Connor Trifari behind him. So Adrian Moore still out here leading this race. On that outside line, James Lowe now peeks the nose a little bit ahead. Moore now peeks the nose a little bit ahead. Jason Papp holding his own on that inside line as Brian Turnowski tries to work the side draft. Wilson and McConey running line astern on that outside line, and Wilson and Moore not clear enough and hits that wall hard. We stay green with how far down off of the racing surface he is.
Big problems for Jason Papp, too, as it looks like he got caught up in a piece of that.
I mean, that was just not clear yet from Adrian Moore. He'll come in, he'll get that fast repair, but that wasn't quite clear yet, Spotter.
Yeah, Pap caught a shot from the 97 going into 3, got down onto the apron and lost a ton of momentum as the field just flashed by him. So, yeah, that was a big moment that could have been a whole lot bigger than it was.
There's Jason Papp now at the back of this field in 19th position. Brandon Wilson and Greg McConey, 2 dudes racing entries leading the front row. That's Wilson on the inside, McConey on the outside. We'll take a look and see what happened with Adrian Moore. And again, he was clear, but the 97 and the 1 really gave that 99 a run on that inside line, and that hole closed just before Moore got there.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the problem you see with that. That Circle B diecast dive, as I believe you referred to it earlier. That you've got to try it. As Marconi able to make it effectively happen that time, jumps in front of his teammate to hang Zishandura out to dry as they come up on a lap truck.
That's Adrian Moore, who they're coming up to put a lap down, has already come in, has already taken his fast repair. He is back in this group now. Nice slow and steady lane changes may work on the interstate. They do not work on the Superspeedway. As you saw the difference there between Moore's slow and steady lane change and McConey's rapid lane change. That's Tarnowski getting a little bit loose coming out of turn 2 with James Lowe behind him.
Yeah, Tarnowski had to chase it down the hill off of 2, which is something you don't normally see here, but it had to do it there. Luckily, everybody around him able to, heads up drive and not get into him, as he had to check up just ever so slightly. As here comes Dura on the high line, as he's got Heisey with a little bit of help on that high side. Heisey has to duck out to try to get some cool air to that radiator, though.
So Sean Dura has won 2 of the last 3 races in this series. He won both races in the round of 8 to get him into the championship 4 at the end of last season. Trying to work that side draft on both the 501 and the 12 with Heisey trying to push him along. Also up here in the mix is Henry Wyndham in the 028 Rugrats Chevrolet. He is sending the 66 around. The 48 is up on his roof, and the caution will come out again.
Wow.
Boy, nothing Trifari could have done there. There's Tarnowski.
Tarnowski went on his roof too, but he stuck the landing, whereas your defending series champion just slide for life on the roof of that Toyota Tundra.
I was just about to say, Tarnowski made his series debut last season at the season finale. Try to ride on board with Connor Trifari here. This is coming out of 3 and 4. Boy, and I don't know if Tarnowski, and that's basically it from there.
33 caught a huge piece of that as well.
Yep, he did. There's Tarnowski already up and over. I'm not sure if Tarnowski just wiggled up the racetrack quite or what happened there, but
Tarnowski went up and Wyndham was already there.
Yeah, what I was wondering was that arrow push that went up, or was he trying to change lanes thinking he was clear?
Not sure. Just all I know is he did go up the track, so
we'll see. Right on the back bumper, well, off the back of Tarnowski. This is coming down the back straightaway, so we'll get a nice little look. I was just saying, Wyndham not on the lead lap in that 028 after being involved in the last wreck. Tarnowski clipping the apron there, coming through, and nah, I think that might have been Tarnowski trying to change lanes. Joe Gautier involved in it again. And unfortunately, he is going to need a little bit more than scrubbing bubbles to fix that machine up. And there is your obligatory commentator's bad sponsor pun for the broadcast.
I'm glad it wasn't me this time.
Well, if you want to hear more bad puns about sponsors, you can take a look at the rest of the week here. Only 2 days left in this official week, but we have 3 races that we are broadcasting tomorrow afternoon. The E-Formula 3.5 series will be from Twin Ring Motegi for the Japanese Grand Prix, the penultimate round of Season 3. Championship battle really heating up after Paul Ilbrink's victory at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal 2 weeks ago, a race that due to iRacing server issues we could not broadcast to you. That will be at 1:30. Jake Sperry and myself will be in the booth for that. A double feature on Sunday will be the debut of a brand new series, the JRS Racing League from South Boston. For those of you who watched over the last month and a half or so, the SRX series. The JRS series is very akin, at least in the way the series is made up, to the SRX series. I believe it's only about a 6 or 7 race season that will be running the super late models on both dirt and asphalt. And South Boston is the home of the first race for their season. That'll be at 7:50. The Majors Series American Sportsman Division will run their final endurance race of the season at Spa-Francorchamps, the 2.4 hours of Spa. Coming up tomorrow, coming up on Sunday, about 10 minutes after the debut of the JRS Racing League. Then a night off for the Rowdy Energy Cup Series. And then a double dip on Tuesday as the MX5 Pro Series for UK Sim Racing heads to the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal at 2:50 p.m. Eastern Time. And then coming up on Tuesday night will be round number 5 for the Western States Racing League at Kansas. Tony and Ben Bruno in the booth for that, possibly. If not, Ryan Williams and Tony will be in the booth for that. As Tony, why don't you bring him to green?
As the field works its way out of turn number 4, pace truck is in. Marconi has the button one more time as Marconi and Wilson, the only two to stay out under that caution. Marconi pulls the trigger, and we are back underway.
You're right, Marconi and Wilson, 2 teammates, 1 and 2, as the Sean Dura really giving a push to that number 12 as Lowe and Creighton, on that inside line, getting the help from Ryan Worley in the 00 as well, as Brandon Wilson has been left high and dry on that outside line.
Absolutely zero help for the 501 as he's now able to duck in behind the 97 and the 99, as right now 2 guys that don't work together a lot but do have raced together a lot, Zishan Dura and Greg Marconi, working that inside lane to perfection currently, as Lowe trying to make something happen on that second lane.
See Connor Trafari in this group as well. He's taken his fast repair, currently 1 lap down after needing to tow after that accident, naturally being on his roof, having to tow. Trafari very fortunate to only lose 1 lap out of that as he tries to wiggle his way up to that outside line and does successfully in front of the 86 of Dan Heisey. And Heisey now will jump to the inside line to get behind Zach Bowerman in the 9.
Bowerman trying to make something happen in that second lane.
Big wiggle
Good grief.
from Dura out of that second lane.
And that's something that you see in the real world too. Two trucks can draft very well together. You put three of them trying to bump draft, and that middle lane middle truck becomes a ping pong ball.
You hear it on the iRacing service all the time on Superspeedway races. Do not push the pusher. And that is what happened there between Worley and Dura. Worley trying to get as close to Dura as he can without hurting him to help both of those guys out. McConey is clear. Dura is not. 4 trucks on the lead lap on that outside line. It's the first 4. As McConey leads with 26 to go.
3 trucks lined up stem to stern on the inside lane. Those are all Fords. 3 Chevys lined up stem to stern on the outside lane with a Ford in tow. And as the Ford now drops down to the inside lane, leaving Connor Trafari with the 3 Toyotas on the outside lane, as Trafari trying to get his lap back the hard way, making a 3rd lane again.
Trafari doing what he did earlier in the race tonight, trying to use that slingshot up to the car in front of him and then take the momentum around the outside 3 wide and doing it solo. It was able to work for him a little bit earlier in this race. Now he's got Chris Worrell, his drafting company, behind him, trying to help with that 3rd lane. Same thing with Jason Papp, and those guys not afraid, Papp especially, not afraid to work a 3rd lane at either Daytona or Talladega, now trying to work and push and make a consistent 3rd lane.
It's a little bit easier to do at Talladega than it is at Daytona, because Talladega is a little bit wider of a track, as I believe that was...
Wow! Worrell pushed him all the way up to the front, and Trafari jumps all the way down going into turn number 3. He's got his lap back for the moment. He needs a caution right now.
Good grief. That's some of the moves that... there it is.
Round behind, we still have not had the caution yet, Stein, and now it comes out. So I think Nicholas Wing was involved. That's the 97, it looks like, of John Creighton. It is. Well, and that could not have come at a more perfect time for the young man in the 48, pardon me.
And it looks like Jason Papp tried to go up through the middle. Creighton tried to shut the door on him, and unfortunately Papp was already there. Eesh.
Trying to see here what happened. Here's Papp coming off of 4. Creighton jumped up to that 3rd lane and then tried to get down again to the middle. And by the time he tried to come down, Papp had already taken that suck up from James Lowe and had just gotten there. We've seen that with a lot of guys tonight, most notably, well, that one, and then with the 09 of Adrian Moore, just ever so slightly misjudging it. Again, for somebody like Moore, who has not been in the Superspeedway series recently, did not run any of the races towards the back end of last season. It's a timing issue with some of these guys, and we've seen everybody, not just Moore, but McFadden has gotten it wrong. Trafari's gotten it wrong. Papp most recently has gotten it wrong. It's all about timing right now.
Absolutely, and it's time for good news, bad news. Good news, if they stay green, you can make it from here. Bad news, I doubt we're going to stay green from here.
As we see these guys looking to top off here for the final time. Jason Papp decides to stay out. As we see these guys jump down into pit road. That's the 10 of Dura down and away. It's like guys taking 4 tires, no tires. Low taking no tire, taking fuel only, maybe 2. Some of the guys further back taking 4 tires. Meanwhile, Jason Papp, yeah, no, I'm just gonna chill.
Well, you would think that he would use this moment to take that fast repair, get a fresh truck under him, and then see what he can do. But I mean, with the way these guys have been going, I don't blame him.
It's clearly not affecting him. That damage, it's not affecting him to the point where you would think it would be affecting him, really slowing that car down a straight line, finding it hard to stay in the draft. Neither one of those things have really happened to that number 1, so you may as well just run with it. And just in case you get caught up in something like what we just saw happen, you've got it in your back pocket. Something that a lot of guys and a lot of competitors that have been running up towards the front here tonight can no longer say they have.
Well, you're not wrong there, but the biggest issue that he's going to have is everybody else can make it from here. He can't.
He's banking on that one more caution to come out, and I would have to assume he's banking on it to come out with a little bit of distance between then and now, possibly with about 10 laps to go in order to make this strategy work. Because with 10 laps to go, that's going to draw everybody in if it comes out later rather than sooner.
No, you're not wrong.
So it'll be Jason Papps, Deshaun Dura, row 1. Row 2 will go to James Lowe and Mark McFadden. Greg McConey and Ryan Worley will make up row number 3. And how about James Lowe? We saw him 2 years ago in season 4. Decided to sit out the the duration of season 5. Has decided to return with teammates Marcus Adams and John Creighton coming back as well. I'm sure we'll see Michael Anthony at some point this season as well. But a very nice return for that number 99. He's been a fixture up at the front all night.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to see him back with the series. And the thing to keep in mind, too, Papp did not pit under that caution. Dura, McFadden, and Lowe all took fuel only. Freshest set of tires right now goes to Greg Marconi, restarting on the outside of row number 3.
So as we get set to go, once again here at Daytona, the first 5 rows double file. Everybody else from 11th on back has come back down pit road. Yet again, green flag is back in the air, 20 to go here at Daytona. Dura getting a heck of a push. McFadden not quite there yet on the 1 of Papp, and that is going to give Dura and Lowe a nice little gap on that inside, also going to help Ryan Worley.
Well, the thing is, if you're Mark McFadden right now, you've got to be a little bit gun shy of trying to push somebody. And I can't say I blame him. I would be too. As Lowe throws to the outside of Dura going down the back straightaway, not any real help as Worley shoving the daylights out of Dura.
Worley taking that momentum and keeping it down there on that inside line. The 99 of James Lowe trying to keep pace up on that outside line. He's got a very good guy to do it with, is Zach Bowerman. One of the better pushers here in the series. Boy, that was a big wiggle at the top of the screen there as Connor Trafari tries to split the middle. Trafari again back on the lead lap. He's battling for positions now.
That was McFadden going for a ride coming from the tri-oval as he's going to drop to the tail end of that outside lane. But right now, Dura and Lowe in lockstep coming off of turn number 2.
The 2 Midas teammates as well are there. That is the 87 of Stein and the 86 of Heisey on that outside line now, trying to push Connor Trifari in the third lane. Jason Papp fills the hole. Mark McFadden now trying to fill the hole under Heisey in the 86.
McFadden trying to make a third lane work as, wow, big move out of Marconi.
That was a big one from Marconi to get up into that third lane. We are 3 wide for the race lead here at Daytona. 18 laps to go, and Lowe is going to be in the sucker hole in the middle. Both Marconi and Trifari go down to get into that middle lane. Through all of that, though, Zishan Dura still has the lead.
Dura with a nose out front, getting a good shove from Worley right now, as Marconi getting the good shove from Dura's teammate, as the two Midas trucks still trying to make it happen on that high lane, as Lowe is still in that sucker hole, as finally the 87 drops in behind.
Well, you said the 10's get. You said the 10 is getting a shot from Marconi's teammate. Trifari giving a shot to push that number 12 around his teammates. Zishan Dura on that inside line. Marconi back to the race lead. Marconi, Dura, Worley with the 67 of Joe Gautier on the inside line. He's been involved in 2 wrecks tonight as the reigning defending champion, getting the shot from the 99. He's going for the lead going into 3. He has it for the moment, but Marconi able to nip it back.
Short way around is Marconi getting a good shove from Dura. Dura able to help Marconi keep the lead. Big wiggle out of the 10 coming off of 4, and that's going to help Trifari in that outside lane. Here he comes on the high side. Give the lap to Marconi, though.
Yep, he hit that apron big, and very fortunate that that 00 gave him a little bit of room there, as Worley looking for what would be his first win in quite some time here in the Superspeedway series. Trifari still hanging it out on that outside line with James Lowe in the 099. On that outside line, the 2 Midas team cars, Heisey and Stein, still running that outside lane as well, just behind the 99. As boy, this is about as exciting as you'd want here with about 15 to go when they cross the line.
And who said Superspeedway racing was boring?
Yeah, exactly.
Certainly wasn't us. And if you don't want to miss a single moment of action of the Circle B Diecast Superspeedway series, brought to you by the iRacing East series, don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, share, turn on bell notifications, tell your mom, tell your dad, hell, tell your neighbor, I don't care.
Yep, absolutely. It's every Friday night we will be here with this series, the start of a 20-race season, Season 6 for the Circle B Diecast Superspeedway Series. Marconi still just barely holding on to that race lead from Connor Trifari, as Zishan Dura really doesn't have an option. I'm sure he wants to get up in front of his teammate, but by doing that, he'll allow Marconi's teammate to get right behind him in Worley.
Yeah, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't at this point, as he knows that Worley and Marconi work well together, kind of like himself and Trifari work well together. And don't look now, but that 99 of James Lowe right behind your defending series champion, giving him a good shove right now, trying to make some headway in that Balls Energy number 99.
These trucks still moving around a lot as we see the long shot down the back straightaway. That's the 9 of Zach Bowerman and the 28 of Ryan Decker, looking and peeking out and considering a third lane option as Dura is just barely clear. Marconi goes up to try to block the run, but he's going to come down and pick up Ryan Worley, his teammate. Marconi is not going to get the lap lead as Dura leads it with Trifari pushing him. And I think that was all that Dura was waiting for, was trying to push. Let me get just ahead of you to jump in front of you so we can make this work. Oh, there they go!
And there it goes.
Boy, and that's going to be the end for a lot of these guys. The caution's going to come out. Boy, that's going to be the end for most of the guys involved in that wreck. Trifari certainly. He took a big hit. Lowe, I think, has a fast repair still.
Dura does.
Yep, Dura does. Worley does.
Oh, wow.
It might be close with Heisey. The intensity ramps up here.
Well, we're inside 15 to go, so yeah, you would expect the intensity ramp up. And the other thing I would expect now is Jason Papp to finally burn his fast repair with what should be the money stop.
That one's on McConey. Oh, there around goes Worley. Joe Gautier caught a piece of it, and we know Gautier has used a fast repair. I would have to say that one is on McConey. Sliding up and pushing up into Dura. That's what forced the 10
Actually,
to get
I'm
loose.
gonna have to say that was on Worley for giving his teammate a shove on the exit of 2, and that's what sent Marconi up the track.
Yeah, either way, that's not a bad push from Trifari by any means.
Ooh.
That's just... I mean, and if you're Trifari, what do you do there? If you're getting pushed from behind, there's really no stopping there. We'll see this from overhead from Lowe's focus. You see that 12 jump up. Or the 19 just clipping a little tiny piece of it. Same with the 6 of Worrell. Well, and if you want to figure out how to take the entirety of Golden State Racing out in one fell swoop, that was it. As all but the top 4 come into pit road, McConey, McFadden, LeBombard, and Wilson. Those are the only 4 that have decided to stay out. Everyone else has come in, and what did I say about Jason Papp needing a caution with about 10 to go in order to draw the rest of the field in? That's exactly what he did, and I don't think... No, he did not use that fast repair.
Oh, yes, he did.
Still seeing
There is no damage left on the number 1 of Papp right now.
I thought I still saw that crease.
Nope.
Oh, no, you're right. It was just the arch of the car. I thought I still saw the crease in front of the left rear door. So we both turned out to be psychos in that case. I mean, psychics, pardon me.
No, you had it right the first time. You got to be psycho to want to do this.
So catching a piece of that in some way, shape, or form, the 19, the 99, the 10, the 6, the 87, the 9, the 86, the 00, the 48, and I believe that is it for Trifari's efforts here tonight.
Same with Henry Wyndham. They both put it on the hauler.
Now, Ryan Decker, Adrian Moore, and Brian Ternowski are still in pit road trying to repair damage. So those guys are not official DNFs. Looks as though Trifari, Logston, Henry Wyndham, and Marcus Adams are official DNFs at this point. So we'll see what happens here with what will be 9 laps to go when we cross the line.
Marconi electing to take the outside lane on the restart. That's going to put Mark McFadden to his inside. Brandon Wilson restarting behind McFadden. John LeBombard in the 95 restarting behind Marconi.
You have that flip reverse, and that's why McConey took that outside line, is because he would have his teammate of Brandon Wilson right behind him. Leave the 5 and the 95 to battle amongst themselves. Adrian Moore is back out on the racetrack. Brian Ternowski has been in pit road for the better part of 13 minutes trying to repair that car.
And Decker and Gauthier getting ready to cold trickle the field.
Yep, there you go. As the lights are out, we will have 9 laps to go here at Daytona. When we go green here, Greg McConey, the lead car on the outside line. Green flag back in the air. 9 to go here in the Season 6 opener.
Marconi not getting the restart he was hoping for. Is Mark McFadden able to get that nose out front? Wilson trying to get his teammate a shove going into 1.
Trying to give him a heck of a shove as well. And he's got no help from Patrick Coro in the 19 behind him. Remember, Coro has used his fast repair. I don't know how much longer you could hold it. You got to go, and you got to go now, as McFadden now not quite getting a bump from John LeBombard. However, LeBombard getting one heck of a shot from the teammates behind him in the 97 and the 99.
Wilson, though, doing everything he can to make sure Marconi gets in the lead and gets himself clear as well. 3 wide behind him.
A little bit of moving and shaking there. Looks like blocking. It's not. But looking like blocking between Zach Bowerman and Ryan Worley. In the middle of 3 and 4, Chris Worrell trying to work a third line. John LeBombard leading the second one. As now LeBombard jumps up into the third lane. All over the place right now with 8 to go.
I mean, I know it's inside 10 to go, but good grief. Okay, still have about 10 miles left.
Creighton and Lowe have sprung free on that outside line. Zishan Dura's up there now as well, as the only thing keeping all 4 dudes racing cars from being together on the inside line is Mark McFadden in the 5 in that third car on the inside lane. Everyone else spread out behind this top 7 here. This 7 really going for it. And with Lowe pushing Creighton, I would not be surprised if Creighton's in the lead momentarily.
Absolutely. Lowe, one of the best pushers all night long tonight. As McFadden catches the apron through the middle of 1 and 2, that's going to check up Jason Papp just a little bit. And here comes Dura on the high side.
Field starting to get back into it now, as there goes the 0-0 of Ryan Worley on that outside line. Trying to make something happen, doesn't have help. I believe that was the 87 of Stein that was looking like he was going to go up, but instead decides to stick behind his teammate of Heisey. It's Chris Worrell and Ryan Worley now at the back end of this group. The top 14 cars all in it with a chance to win with 6 to go.
Mick Wing almost 5 seconds to the tail of these guys, as Gauthier back on pit road in the 67. As, wow, that was a big move out of the back of that field.
Yep, that looked like the 9 of Zach Bowerman swinging to the outside line. Creighton still has not found a way around that number 12 with his teammate of Zach Wilson pushing him, or Brandon Wilson, pardon me, pushing him. That's one of, I believe that's the 87 of Stein in the Midas cars working the third lane. And now Zishan Dura goes to the third lane. That leaves the 2 Balls Energy cars in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's dangerous for the rest of the field, as you've got... hang on to her, son.
It's close. It's a lot of close racing up here. Dura leading that third lane, but it's losing steam. McConey leading the race on the inside. Creighton now jumps up to that third lane to try to keep that momentum going on that outside line. That's John LeBombard clipping the grass, but the 19 allowing him to go through. Lowe splits the middle with Ryan Worley and Chris Worrell pushing.
Lowe trying to make something happen in the middle, as he's got the 0-0 of Worley right behind him. As give the lap to the 99 of Lowe, as that inside lane still trying to make something happen. The outside lane still trying to make something happen, as that's Creighton and Dura. And Creighton into the wall coming through 1.
3 wide, 3 rows deep here for the race lead with 3.5 laps to go. Lowe in the middle, still out in the lead. These trucks really moving around here. The 2 Midas trucks might have a play in this as well, as McConey really falling off the back, falling off just enough to allow James Lowe to cover the inside lane off.
So Lowe.
Oh, Dura in the wall.
Oof.
Really stacked that outside line up, and now they're having to get around the lap car of Gautier.
Gautier doing the right thing, getting down onto the apron, getting out of the way as here comes Marconi on the high side, has his teammate pushing. Can they make something happen and put that Balls Energy truck behind them?
Oh, now goes Wilson! Hard into the wall goes Wilson. Caution comes out. We'll have a green-white checkered. Ryan Worley around as well. Big slam on the brakes for Heisey. As that's late race aggression.
Late race aggression, and one of those deals where don't push the pusher again. As
no, that had nothing to do with that.
Well, Borman got into the 501.
Yeah, 501 started to slide up, and Bowerman hits him in the corner, turns him right around. 99 getting a piece of that. The 5 might have caught something with that as well. It's the first time tonight that the 9 of Bowerman has really been up towards the front.
Well, we saw him up towards the front at the beginning of the race, but he dropped back trying to save that truck towards the end.
Yep.
But they just announced this is going to be the first of 2 attempts at a green-white checker.
Yep.
As Marconi having to wait on the pace truck, working through 3 and 4 right now. I wouldn't expect anybody to come down pit road at this point because you've kind of made your bed and it's time to lie in it. The only guys that are going to be coming down pit road are the guys that were involved in that incident. But for those of you unfamiliar with the whole concept of a green-white checker, because I know we don't see it in all the leagues that we broadcast here on ESPN, and I stand corrected, as most of the front runners go down pit road.
Lowe, Bowerman, LeBombard, Worrell, and Wilson all come down.
Green flag is going to come out, and it's a 2-lap shootout. If the or 3-lap shootout. If the leader takes the white flag before the accident happens, that's it, race over, race back to the checker. If the leader has not crossed the start-finish line to take the white flag and all hell breaks loose, we're going to try it 2 times. After the second time, we'll end it under caution.
And right now, it will be McConey, McFadden, Papp, Creighton, and Coro. The top 5, Dura, Heisey, Wing, and Bowerman, are the 9 that did not come in. And of these drivers here, the 2 that would be the most concerned about a second green-white checkered would be the 12 and the 5, because the last time those 2 came in was lap number 58. Everybody else that did not come in this last time came in on lap 69. The rest of the field came in right now on lap 79.
We saw the opening salvo that these guys can go 23 laps under anger. And we've had 2 cautions since the last time Marconi and McFadden were both on pit road.
That's about 6 or 7 caution laps and about, what's the math on that? About 7.5 to 8 minutes being able to save fuel under these caution laps, clutching it, shutting the car down, keeping it in 4th gear. A lot of things that these guys can do to try to save enough fuel to be able to make it the rest of the way. But a lot of damaged trucks left running here. Couple of clean ones. The 12 looks clean. The 19 looks clean. Possibly the 95 of LeBombard, but beyond that, everyone else showing some form of battle scars. Adrian Moore in the 09 at this point has called it a night. He is done. Brian Turnowski has been in the pit box for 24 minutes. Daniel Stein has been in for 4. Ryan Worley coming back down pit road again. He's been in there for a minute. Everybody else is right here on track, trying to take the first win of the season. McConey lines up in front of his teammate on the inside. Mark McFadden has John Creighton for company on the outside. Tony, for hopefully the final time, take us away.
Field works its way out of turn number 4. Marconi has the button for what should be the final restart. First attempt at a green-white checker. Pace truck drives below the apron line. Green flag comes out. We are back underway. Great restart for the teammates of Marconi and Pap on the inside lane. McFadden, no help on that second lane yet.
No, not just yet. He's trying to force his way down on that inside line, but Coro not having that happen again, and McFadden still trying to force his way down. Contact with the 6. Around goes the 501 of Wilson. The caution comes out. We'll go to attempt number 2.
We're going to rack him, stack him, and do it again. That had bad intentions written all over it.
That had, I'm not falling to the back of this field. I want down on that inside line. And McFadden has had an uncharacteristically poor night here in that number 5, and we'll take a look at what happened there as that one started quite a ways before the wreck actually happened.
It started back at the start-finish line.
You see McFadden trying to get down in front of the 19, tries to get down in front of the 86. Then once the contact with the 86 happens, it throws him up into the rest of the field, bottles everyone else up, and LeBombard ends up turning the 501. Now, it is worth noting that these last 2 Saturday nights, 73-year-old Mark McFadden has come away with 2 trophies from his local short track, 2 winners' trophies from his local short track. I'm sure he'll be looking for a 3-peat tomorrow night. I think he'll be hoping for anything to erase the memory of this race at this point.
Well, you're not wrong there. But the big question is, does Greg Marconi in the 12 have enough fuel to make it to all the way around for a green-white checker attempt number 2?
McFadden's going to be in the same boat right now, and if I were McFadden, you're sitting in 10th position right now. You're not going to fall too much further back. May as well come in just to take enough to go the rest of the way. He does not, however. As we will do at least 2 more pace laps here, and I'm sure McConey was screaming for a quickie yellow at this point. But we are not going to get that. He's driving on the flat now, trying to save whatever fuel he can in that fuel pickup for the start.
Yeah, and he's doing exactly what you were saying, clutch the car, turn it off, and try to save as much fuel as he can. It's going to be close for the 12. And he's got to be about ready to start kicking puppies at this point with the number of late race cautions. He had the fuel mileage planned out to just about perfection. The question is, when you plan it out like that, if we go into overtime, you might have problems.
And naturally, with these American-made trucks that tend to defy logic sometimes, Cars making left turns on high left bankings. Naturally, you put the fuel pickup on the right side of the car where all the fuel falls away from, which is why he would be down on the flat trying to keep that truck running. As we should be seeing the lights go off on the safety truck here to signal one to go and back to green flag racing. As we come across the line, that is exactly what we see. So they'll double them up and get ready for what will definitely be the final attempt at a green-white checkered here tonight.
Marconi and Pap going to restart on the front row together, the two teammates, as you got Pat Caro and Dan Heisey starting in row number 2. And great recovery drive for the 10 of Zishan Dura as he is back in the top 10.
Dura has done a fantastic job after being, I guess you could say, swatted out of a top 3 position. Cars currently sitting on pit road. Joe Gautier, Ryan Worley, Daniel Stein, Brian Tarnowski still on pit road. Stein and Worley did not make it out for the last restart attempt. Gautier has come down pit roads, been in there for 2.5 minutes. So only 14 cars remaining on track out of the 23 that started this season opener. So the big question on this restart will be, will McConey's fuel tank hold out long enough to get him the race win, the first race win of this season? Pace truck about to duck off. McConey and Pap in the front row. Green flag back in the air.
Green flag comes back out as Marconi. Engine sounds strong currently as Pap trying to make something happen on that second lane. No help, though, really, as Heisey not close enough to make anything happen, as Coro shoving the daylights out of Marconi right now as the field works its way out of turn number 2, and next flag ends it.
Yeah, Ball's Energy not to be counted out just yet. That 97 of John Creighton has the 6 of Worrell looming back there behind him, as now he goes down to the inside line. Worrell in that number 6 to the outside. 1 and 2, Pap and McConey as they fan out. Around goes Pap, around goes McConey. Caution comes out. Out of it comes Dan Heisey to take the lead and to take the win here at Daytona. Unbelievable. I don't think that had anything to do with McConey's truck running out of fuel. The entire field fanned out coming out of turn 4. There's Patrick Coro's 19.
It started with Heisey giving Pap a bad shove coming off of 4 that sent Pap up the track. The 19 came out of 4 and was trying to stay off of Marconi, went up, caught Heisey. Heisey caught Pap, and just all hell broke loose. And
Dan Heisey will take the opening race win of the season as Zishan Dura and the rest of the field are lined up behind the pace truck. Not sure why Heisey didn't wait for the pace truck. Not sure if that's going to have something to do with the results. Heisey's the first truck to cross the line. Dura the first truck to cross the line behind the pace truck. I'm not seeing anything odd and unique out of iRacing, so Dan Heisey has won this race. We will go to a replay in just a moment of what happened. Man alive, what an opener we've seen here at Daytona.
What is it about trucks in Daytona that always leads to a finish like this? This is the third series that we've done since the new aero and tire model have come out that has gone to Daytona, and they've put on just a wild finish.
It was absolutely wild.
Heisey got disqualified.
So that would mean Zishan Dura has won this race. It would be the black flag for Heisey for not falling behind the pace truck. So in effect, Zishan Dura's won this race.
Yes, he has.
3 of the last 4 race wins have gone to the number 10. And we'll explain, the rule is you have to comply with what iRacing tells you to do when it relates to the pace car. So if it told Heisey to lay back and wait for the pace truck, he cannot cross the start-finish line before that pace truck does. Otherwise, he gets a black flag. Zishan Dura and the rest of the field did comply with the safety truck and with what iRacing said. So it is Zishan Dura that takes the race win. I mean, you suspected it, but wow.
Yeah, they popped him for it. I mean,
flag.
it's as you know, we were expecting it to happen, but it was a little bit delayed because of the green-white checker finish. I think it took iRacing a couple seconds to figure that one out.
Well, I mean, it would have been the black and checkered at the same time for Heisey. Meanwhile, the rest of they had to wait for the safety car to catch up, because he still had that time to wait. If he would not have crossed the line before the pace truck crossed the line, he would have been fine.
Right.
So we'll take that long-awaited trip down memory lane and take a look at what happened on that coming to the white flag. See what happened there is, boy, all hell broke loose. Boy, Creighton took a hard hit. Coro had a couple of hard hits. Same with McConey. I mean, just pick a guy and watch is really all that it comes down to. As we'll take a look and see. Focus on Dura. Boy, Coro came up a little bit. There's Dura getting through it. Wow, the Red Sea's parted for him big time. I'm surprised it's actually not going to Brandon Wilson, because he was ahead of Dura the entire time. So who in the heck won this race? The caution's been out at this point.
They're saying Dura.
Let's take a look back at this. And there's the pace truck picking up Dura. So at this point, with how far ahead Heisey is, he's supposed to be waiting up here. Instead, he's carrying on. The iRacing system is flashing a notice on his screen to wait for the pace truck. And he's not. Let's take a look at this one more time, and we're going to focus on Brandon Wilson in the 501.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
There's Wilson. There's the ten of Dura's on the inside line, almost farthest over to the left. Caution comes out. But unless the caution came out just before he passed him, once they got through, I would love to know when the caution actually came out.
Right there. Yeah, Dura had position over Wilson when the
Okay.
caution flag flew.
So there you go. So we'll get these guys in right now here. As Tony, you are with our race winners, the Sean Dura.
In the last 3 races, the only man that has had, last 4 races now, the man that has had the top step of the podium. Congratulations on the season opening win, Zishan Dura.
Thank you, Tony.
3 of the last 4. I apologize.
Thank you, guys. Not the way I wanted to win one, but a win is a win, I guess.
Well, talk us through that final lap of what you saw coming to take the white.
Yeah, I saw one truck get turned to the left, and I just saw that one truck get turned. I did not know everyone else was crashing, so I did not lift. I got really lucky, and the seas parted until Zach got turned across my nose. By the time I hit him, he was already like 70, 80 degrees, so I just kind of helped him do a full spin. And then I just stayed in it. I got up to Brandon and Dan. It told me to pass both of them. So I knew I had it there, and then the 86 drove around the pace truck, which I don't know, honestly, if it still would have had me in front of him. It probably would have, but I tried to tell him on the radio, you know, you're going to get a black flag for that, but I guess he didn't have voice chat on, but a win is a win, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I mean, you hate to see a race end like that. Had it stayed green, do you think you had anything for those guys around you?
No. I felt really boxed in on the bottom. You know, with these trucks, they made it so it's really hard to push on the bottom when you have someone on your outside. Second place gets really twisted up, and it's really hard to not hit the apron, and the top is a huge advantage, so I knew I was kind of screwed. I don't know why I chose to go to the bottom on the restart there, but I guess it worked out.
Well, I mean, we saw the entirety of Golden State Racing have issues earlier in the night. You know, you and your teammate had a meeting of the minds, which actually ended Connor's night. You know, just how difficult was it with the buffeting that these trucks seem to be experiencing tonight?
Yeah, it was very odd. Connor and Zach did not practice much, so I kind of told them at the end of practice, "Hey, if you hit someone in the corners, it shoots them right." And they were like, "Okay." And very early in the race, they practiced that with each other at the back. And they're like, "Okay, yeah, we get it." Apparently, some people in the field did not get that memo, but it was odd. The bottom line has always been at a disadvantage in the trucks on plate tracks, but the top line is definitely much more advantageous now than it was last season. So the whole race was really just a fight for all of us. The very first caution, there were 5 trucks in the lead pack. Zach and I were one of them. Connor was in the second pack because he had to pit a lap earlier because Zach and I were saving the whole first run, and Connor was leading. So then there was a caution. Um, I think I was the leader coming to the green, I think. Um, then I think we pitted again under caution. Yeah, I think we only had one green flag stop, but Connor got flipped. Um, Thankfully, a caution came out, so He only lost 1 lap with 2 minutes of towing. He did a really good job driving up and passing the leader manually to get his lap back. Then the caution came out again. Then after that, uh, I slid up in front of him. He had worked his way back up. I slid up in front of him to take the lead. I got to the lead just barely, and then we all got crashed. Uh, we fought back again, and I got walled a couple times when I went to the third lane. So I was frustrated because I feel like we needed 3 or 4 trucks to be committed to the third lane for it to work, and every time we went up there, I would get put in the wall. Um, so we played our cards the best we could, and at the end, I got really lucky. I would not have won this race had that unfortunate crash not happened. I hate it for everybody involved, but I guess I'll take it.
Well, we move to one of your more favorite plate tracks next week as we take the Xfinity cars to Dega. Your thoughts with that car track combination next week?
It's my favorite, so I'm happy. I've never won an IES in the Xfinity cars, but I think they're great. They're, kind of tanks now, which is good because they go in and out with updates of being very sensitive to aero damage and not sensitive at all. So I think they're at a decent place right now where you can be affected by significant aero damage, but you can still hold the draft. So that should be a fun race. Hopefully, the setup is decent and we're not, dancing around. We can actually push each other, but it should be fun.
All right. Zishan Dura, congratulations on winning the season opener at Daytona. Anybody you want to thank before we let you go celebrate with your team?
Yeah, Connor, Zach, and Nick, of course. Jason for putting on this league. You guys for the awesome broadcast. Super fun to watch after every race. Circle V Diecast, iRacing iFlag, Butt Kicker, Rowdy Energy, Midwest Motor Customs, Lot 9 Brewing Co., Taz Racing Customs, and Lintz Creative. He did the design for this paint scheme, so check him out at Lintz Creative on Twitter if you want one like it. That's kind of all I got.
All right. Zishan Dura, go celebrate with your team, and we'll see you next week at Talladega.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so that was your race winner, Zishan Dura, recapping those last couple of laps. And now we'll speak to Brandon Wilson here. Brandon, what did you see out of those final couple of moments, and just overall a wild night?
Yeah, unfortunately, we're way better than this for sure. This is probably the worst race I've been in, honestly. But we'll recover. It's the first race of the season, so getting all the jitters out, I'm sure. I know myself, we were all excited, ready to race tonight. So hopefully my gosh, next week, everybody will be a lot more calmer. But all in all, in between the wrecks, it was some pretty good racing. I mean, I had some minor setbacks. It wasn't my fault, but we recovered from it, and that last wreck was pretty crazy. I can't believe I made it through it, but yeah, all in all, it wasn't too bad.
How close were you to actually clipping Dura there when the caution came out? Were you still a little ways behind him, or did you think it was a lot closer than it was?
I think, and I have to go back and look. I think I might even hit him. I don't know. We were trying to figure that out a while ago, how he got in front of me.
Well, looking at our replay, he had been in front of you. It's just when the caution came out, I think was kind of the interesting point there, because we saw you in front of him the whole time, but we had backed it up a little bit more. Going into Talladega next week in the Xfinity Series cars, what are your thoughts there? Do you prefer Xfinity to these? And what's your thoughts going to the bigger track at Talladega?
Yeah, I like the trucks and the Xfinity, so it's going to be a lot more fun here. The cars are a little bit obviously faster than the trucks, but they with the wide track and everything on top of that, with Dega coming up, it's going to be pretty interesting. I like Dega; it's my favorite track. Daytona's okay; you just can't really do much passing on it, but I think that it'll probably be a little bit better racing next week.
All right, anybody you want to thank before we let you go and celebrate?
Circle B Diecast, Rowdy Energy, I Race and I Flag, Butt Kicker, and Midwest Motor Customs. And of course, always, you guys, you do a great job.
All right, thank you very much. That's your second place finisher here tonight, Brandon Wilson. Bud, congratulations.
Thank you.
Right, and so with that, we will now bring in our third place finisher. Returning to the series, James Lowe. Tony, you're with him.
James, all things considered, can't be too disappointed with a podium finish in your series return.
Yeah, I mean, you survived till the finish. That's all you can really hope for. And I was like 11th there on that last lap, and all that catastrophe broke loose, and somehow I wound up in third. So I can't complain about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Being as you had one of the best seats in the house, talk us through what you saw. I mean, we've already talked to Brandon and Zishan, but talk us through what it was like a little bit further back in that.
But it was trucks helicoptering one way and spinning the other way and flipping over the other way, and they were all over the place. And somehow I made it through all that, and I didn't touch a soul, and which was pretty impressive I think. But yeah, there was just cars everywhere, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't get any easier from here as the series moves to the sister track Talladega next week in the Xfinity cars. Your thoughts going into that?
Just from when I ran this league last time, and now that I'm coming back, I mean, the same rules apply. You just got to survive till the end and just hope you catch a little bit of luck there, especially on that last lap, because there's usually going to be some drama. So just kind of, just be there at the end and hope for the best.
All right. Well, James, we saw you work together with your teammates all night long. Is there anybody you want to thank before we let you go celebrate with your team?
Yeah, definitely. Just thank my team, Balls Out Racing. I'm glad Chris came home with a top 5 there. We had it going good early, and it was unfortunate that all those cautions happened because I think we had them covered. But yeah, just thank them. Thank iRacing Flag and Butt Kicker, Circle B, Diecast, Rowdy Energy, Midwest Motor Customs, or I think that's it. And yeah, just Jason for letting me come back and run with the boys again.
All right, James Lowe, again, congratulations on the podium in your series return. Looking forward to seeing what you can do next week at Dega.
Appreciate it.
So that was your third place finisher here tonight, James Lowe. And Tony, a wild night here, and as Brandon Wilson alluded to, a little bit rusty for some of these guys. It's the first time that these guys have run a Superspeedway Series race in a little bit over a month. And for some, it's been the first time that they've run together, as in the case of Coro and Heisey and Daniel Stein. And in other cases, it's been a long time since these guys have run together. In the case of Creighton, in the case of James Lowe, so a lot of new circled in with the little bit of old, and it was a wild night here at Daytona.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just receiving word now that Marconi would have run out in the middle of the back straightaway had he not been involved in that melee coming to the white flag. So, heartbreak for Marconi, heartbreak for your defending series champion, Connor Trafari. Still a lot of racing left, still a lot of headway to be made. But, some of these guys that we've seen be strong in the past are now behind the 8 ball going into round number 2 next week at Talladega.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll take a look right now at the results here for tonight's race, and it'll show Actually, no, it does not. Okay, so iRacing got that right. Sean Dura, Brandon Wilson, and James Lowe, your podium finishers here tonight. John LeBombard and Chris Worrell finishing out the top 5. Zach Bowerman, Nick Wing, Jason Papp, Dan Heisey goes from what we thought was a possible win to a black flag that puts him all the way down to 9th, the last car on the lead lap. Mark McFadden comes home with a top 10 finish. Ryan Decker and Greg McConey round out the top half of the field.
Pat Coro in his series debut, coming home in 13th. John Creighton in his return, coming home in 14th. Joe Gauthier, not the night he was hoping for, coming home in 15th. Ryan Worley, 16th. Dan Stein, 17th. Adrian Moore, 18th. Connor Trafari, not the way he was hoping to start his title defense, coming home in 19th. Dustin Longston in 20th. 21st going to Brian Tarnowski. Henry Wyndham in 22nd, and Marcus Adams in 23rd. Shane Posey did not start.
Shane Posey had been having connection issues to the iRacing servers all day long and unfortunately could not get them rectified before tonight's race. He tried, he got incredibly close, tried to make it in prior to gridding, but unfortunately could not. So that will do it for us here tonight. Coming up this weekend here on ESPN, tomorrow afternoon, it'll be the eFormula 3.5 Series. Will be running their second to last race of the season at Twin Ring Motegi. That will be at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Jake Sperry and myself will be in the booth calling that race. Coming up on Sunday will be the brand new JRS Racing League. They will open up their season in the super late models at South Boston at 7:50 p.m. Eastern Time. Not quite sure what the booth for that race is. Coming up 10 minutes after that will be the last endurance race of the season for the Major Series. That will be the 2.4 hours at Spa from Spa-Francorchamps. And also, over the course of the day tomorrow, the real 24 hours of Spa will be kicking off as well. Our 2.4 will start at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. A night off on Monday before a doubleheader on Tuesday. It'll be the UK Sim Racing's MX5 Pro Series from the circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal at 2:50 p.m. Eastern Time. Jake Sperry and Sam Cooper Bennett in the booth for the early game, for the early race, and the evening, the nightcap for the doubleheader on Tuesday will be the Western States Racing League. They will be at Kansas for round number 5 of their season. Either Ryan Williams or Tony will be joining Ben Bruno in the booth for that race. So for all of us here at ESPN, for my broadcast partner Tony Trapasso, I am Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. We will see you next week from Talladega, and we will see you tomorrow afternoon for the eFormula 3.5 Series. Have a fantastic night, everybody.